Christophe Sepin met Damon Albarn from the Gorillaz for an exclusive interview for FM4 and talked to the musician about his career while Albarn had a cup of tea and snacked on some celery just before the show of the Gorillaz at the FM4 frequency.
What has it been like taking the new Gorillaz record out on the road yet so far?
What's it like? Well, in many ways it's the same as taking any Gorillaz record out on the road, in the sense that it's a very big family that you take, extremely different personalities, all kind of sort of coexisting. This year in particular, I think this is our 30th country we've played in. That's a lot of countries, and it's only August.
Yeah, that's right. I read an online discussion, and in that online discussion people were discussing in 50 years which artists from nowadays, you know, like artists from 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, how they are still in the heads of people and all this kind of stuff. And people were talking about noughties music and things that have been released in the noughties. And people have been talking about what is something that is still going to be there, that people are still going to listen to and remember from the noughties. And the only band that people could agree on were the Gorillaz. What do you think that is?
I don't know. It's interesting that that's what they agree on. I suppose we were like one of the first kind of bands to not be exactly who they are. You know what I mean? In the sense that we were the opposite, in a way, of what we were. And voices were mutated, and there were lots of different voices. You know, like, you know, I mean, it's maybe it was like something that had a sort of zeitgeist about it, and that's why, I don't know. Maybe
I always felt like Gorillaz.
Hard for me to say, really. You know what I mean?
Well, as you are the producer, you know, and sometimes is that possible for you to reduce your position as the creator of the music to like a listener with your own songs that you make yourself?
That's very difficult. I mean, I listen to the music from when I start it, like my early demos, and then I listen to it right to the end till it's mixed, and then I don't listen to it again. You know, I mean I'm within it when I'm performing. I'm not in any way. I'm in the interior of the songs, and this record, in a way, was sort of written as being a record within a record. It's the voice of 2D within the world of humans. If this was Inception or whatever film it is, I'd be deep.
You're deep down the rabbit hole.
Deep down the rabbit hole at the moment.
Well, I always had the feeling, maybe I'm wrong, but like with you make music because you want to make music. There's not really some kind of push behind it. You can decide it yourself if you want to record something and what you want to do, right?
I've probably got too much stuff. I sort of just had the last few weeks. I've just written loads and loads and loads of songs, but I can't even really record them because I'm sort of involved in this, and then I've got to go and do the Good, the Bad, and the Queen. And although in the ideal world, deep down the rabbit hole, I'd be able to just sort of put them out every day, you know, make a song, put it out, make another day.
It's kind of in your bloodstream in that way.
Well, it's just, I suppose it's like writing a diary, really. You know, I just write a diary every day, and it manifests itself as music. It's the same thing.
So in that way, is it sometimes that different facets of your character that you have inside of yourself is coming out through different projects? Like they're all part of the puzzle piece that create you as a human being?
Yes, I mean, they're all part of me, definitely. I probably do have a mild form of multiple personality disorder. But it's mild, so it's okay. I'm functioning. I'm a functioning schizophrenic.
Well, you're also melancholic as well, right?
That's what you're schizophrenic. Yeah.
This is what I always really loved about your music. This is what I always really like about the Gorillaz as well. There's party tracks, you can dance to it, but then there's very hidden, like woven within it. There's a certain spirit of like melancholia, of certain some deep.
That's the music that has always kind of touched me. So I always try to weave it in, you know, when I'm making something. Yeah, it's like some painters, they love certain colours, and I suppose that musically that's the colour I always use.
what made you decide to kind of put the cartoon characters a little bit to the back in regards to like live shows or something like that, and really put the musicians behind it and like the amazing collaborators that you have really to the front?
They're really worth seeing, and that's always a thrill, and and in a way it can change every night. Like, for example, on Saturday at Boomtown we had Sean Ryder. He's not here tonight, so we can't do that song. It changes. I like the way that some of our biggest songs are ruled by the availability of people. I like that. It's a sort of, it means you just can't always rely on the same kind of sort of things. You have to.
The name of your
very adaptable.
The name of your current record, the Now. Funny enough, as we're sitting here listening to Die Antwoord right now, the first time I encountered it. Why are you eating celery?
Because the Antwoord are on, so I'm eating celery as a sort of holistic reaction to it.
Very good. Well, the first time I heard that term was because of them, as it is a phrase that is said in South Africa. Like in South Africa, when you say we're doing something now, that means like in like a couple of weeks or something. Right. When you say now, that's like more immediate. Is there something within that as well?
Well, I was in South Africa at the beginning of this year making a record in Johannesburg. Maybe that somehow, because after that I went and recorded this album in February, so maybe it somehow subliminally entered my brain, maybe.
Well, what's next for you then, to come to the conclusion of this? What's next for you? It's been a really short time for this new Gorillaz record to come out, which is really great. What's going to happen?
Another one as well, but I know I'm going to be allowed to even think about recording or putting it out this year.
So what are you going to do then?
I don't know, but I don't know, because in October, after I finished playing in America, then I'm starting to work with The Good, the Bad, and the Queen again. So I don't know. I kind of thought that was like the end of this period. I don't know. I mean, it's there. If I get the time or anyone wants it, it's there.